So UFC 324 just finished, just wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. And yeah, what a great kickoff to the Paramount Plus era. Great card overall. There was a couple hit or miss fights in there, but overall it was a great card. One of the better cards you'll see out of the UFC. And obviously, wow, what a main event between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. It was fireworks. But I'm just going to break down the main card, go through the fights of the main card, and kind of discuss the fights and you know what happened and give my own takes on it. But first, I want to say, or rather, before I get into that, like, subscribe helps out, and yeah. But first, before we get into that, I want to say something about Paramount Plus because obviously this is the first time we've seen the Paramount Plus production, or at least how the UFC have altered their own production to cater to Paramount Plus. And holy like f, the advertisements are crazy. The amount of advertisements with Paramount Plus is so it's massive. It's like there's so many advertisements. Obviously, since the UFC have done away with pay-per-views, they've had to kind of find a way how to subsidize that gap or that lack of pay-per-view money, the lack of money they would get from a normal pay-per-view. Obviously, they got $7.7 billion for the acquisition of the rights to stream on Paramount Plus, but the ads were crazy. There was like every time in the corner there was an ad. They'd like literally where they have the cam of the fighter like on the stool, big ad pops up, takes up like 80% of the screen. What else? Because usually before you'd have like maybe a little ad or something, maybe it'd take up like a tiny bit of the screen, but this is the whole screen. It was like I was just watching an ad, and then in the corner was like a fighter on the stool, and also it was if you'd noticed when it cut to the desk like where Joe Rogan, John Anik, and all that are on, they have advertisements on the microphones. They have advertisements on the microphones, which is crazy. I seen that and I was like, what? That's never been there before. So the UFC, they're feeling very greedy, very greedy. But yeah, so I just want to get out of the way. But onto the main card. So it was Pimblett versus Gaethje in the main event, but we'll get to that in a bit. So Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva, great fight. I actually thought it was going to get fight of the night until the main event. Uh, Arnold Allen, Gene Silva came out. Arnold Allen was kind of pushing forward, jabbing. Gene Silva was kind of patient towards the start. He was kind of biding his time, and then he would start landing big shots. He'd be landing jabs. It was kind of like a battle of, you know, quantity versus quality. And Arnold Allen would land or land a lot of shots. A lot of leg kicks, a lot of jabs. But Gene Silva was landing like really big, really big right hands. I thought he rocked, not rocked, but like he would kind of put off balance Arnold Allen a couple of times with big shots. Arnold Allen done well to stay in, and then at the end of the fight, the whole like this is the thing that people are gonna know the fight for. Like Arnold Allen gets on he's on his knees. I believe it was a takedown, and Gene Silva just gets up and just jumps on his back and starts like riding him like a surfboard, and then like just jumps off like hands up in the air, and it was like really funny to see. And but no, it was a good fight. Gene Silva won, obviously, uh, and yeah, so he'll be moving up the rankings. I believe Arnold Allen is number 6, so Gene Silva will be number 6 or 7 or 5 or whatever, wherever they decide to put him on Tuesday. So yeah, it was a good fight, great fight. I'll be honest, I barely watched this fight. I think I was on my phone for most of the time because Rose Namajunas women's division is gonna go decision, and to be honest, I knew Natalia Silva was gonna win, and I don't really care about Rose Namajunas. She was doing the thing again at the start of the fight that I don't know why she still does. It's like she's sitting like I'm the best, and it's like we've heard this before, we've seen this. This is like 5 years old. You done it once, you got like a head kick knockout. Stop doing it. You're not the best. Natalia Silver's the best, and she'll probably be getting a title shot after this fight. So obviously because there's like no one else to give Shevchenko, so they're gonna give it to Natalia Silva. She's unbeaten, and it makes sense. So yeah, that was that fight. Uh, Next fight, another not living up to the hype kind of fight. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. This was one of the fights of all time, one of the heavyweight fights of all time. It was Derek Lewis just sitting, doing nothing, and then they'd like try and like every Derek Lewis fight where he just sits, backs up, and then throws a big right hand that misses, and or maybe he'll throw the left high kick whilst he's backing up. It's not exactly. It's pretty much the standard Derek Lewis fight. Whereas Costa, he was doing well, jabs, right hands, and that was kind of the story of the fight. He was just it was kind of like the same throughout the whole all the round, just backing up by Lewis, and then through the right hand, Acosta was just kind of jabbing, doing well, and then at the end of the fight, Derek Lewis slips on a banana peel. He just fell down, and then Acosta just started ground and pounding him to the side of the head, and that was it. Like at the end of the third round, I believe, or sorry, second round, I should say. And it was, yeah, I don't know what's going on at heavyweight. Why are these guys all fat, and why did Derek Lewis just give up at the end of the fight, or the end of round two, I should say? Because I don't like what even was that? He just fell down. I thought it was like, maybe he like hurt his leg or something, but it didn't even look like that. Like watching it again, he just fell down, and it's like, what's going on? So yeah, Acosta won. Good for him. It was an okay fight. Not really. It wasn't entertaining. I was thinking, it's going to come out. Acosta's going to be throwing bombs. Obviously, Derek Lewis is going to be throwing bombs as he does. But no, it was pretty. It was very technical from Acosta. He didn't, wade in when he didn't need to. He kind of was keeping it technical. Didn't give himself unnecessary risk. Obviously, Derek Lewis is a big power puncher, so that's the last thing you want to do. Put yourself in range to get punched by Derek Lewis. But so that therefore the fight was a bit substandard for like a heavyweight fight. We think two guys are going to start brawling, but yeah, smart by Acosta, good one for him. Sean O'Malley. This was Sean O'Malley versus Song Yudong. This was a bit of a controversial one. You could kind of see it going either way. O'Malley won the first, won the third. And the first, he definitely won the third. He absolutely won the third. Yudong was bloodied up. O'Malley landed a big knee. He was landing a lot of shots. Obviously, good toughness from Song Yudong to stay in there. And what was it? The first round, it was kind of, Song Yudong landed a takedown, had a lot of control, but O'Malley kind of, peppered him with a lot of shots. Kind of lit him up with a lot of shots to kind of maybe clinch around. It's round one, because round two is definitely Song Yudong's. Round three is definitely O'Malley's. So it's kind of first round. It's a bit controversial. People were saying robbery, like they always bet on the O'Malley robbery. That's kind of how it goes. The UFC's poster boy, or what? Well, it used to be anyway. I wouldn't say he's much of the poster boy now, but he won. It'd be interesting to see what they do next. Obviously, Merab should be getting the next title shot against Yan. However, they could do Sean O'Malley versus Yan too, just for, I guess, promotional sake. O'Malley's still a big name. He got a win, and he's still in the top three. So they might do it on the White House card, but I've seen something saying like Russians aren't allowed on the White House card, so that means Yan can't fight on the White House card. I have no idea what's going on there. If they don't do that, maybe do Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. That would be like a really good fight. People have wanted that fight for years. I thought that should have been the fight after O'Malley lost the first time to Merab, but they didn't do it. Hopefully they do it this time. I'd rather see that, and obviously Merab get the title shot against Yan. We need to see the Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen fight. That would be a really good fight. So yeah, Sean O'Malley got the win. Yudong unfortunately lost. if well, unfortunately, depending on whether you think it was a robbery or not, but I could see how it could be, but how it also couldn't be. So, but O'Malley won. O'Malley won. O'Malley always gets a win. And now main event. So this is what we wanted after a 6 week break from the UFC. Obviously, the card itself was pretty good, and to top it off, the main event with Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. The start of the fight, it was really shaky. Obviously, it was kind of tit for tat at the start, and then Gaethje just started landing like power bombs. And actually, Paddy admitted in the post-fight interview that Gaethje landed a punch to his solar plexus, like kind of in the middle of the chest, and it got him. And I think it was one of the reasons why he was a bit kind of covering up. Obviously, he got dropped. Like Gaethje dropped Paddy Pimblett at the kind of maybe like the midway through the first round, I believe it was. And I actually thought like, oh, like what is the fight about to be over? And in the first round, Gaethje started doing the thing which he'd do throughout the fight, where if Paddy got on the ground, he'd be in like a turtle position, and Gaethje would latch a headlock and just start like doing ground and pound from the front, like on the side of his head, like doing uppercuts underneath the arm, like really effective, like ground and pound. And then second round, like what was it? Second round, Paddy got dropped like badly. Obviously, there was I think it was in the first round, there was like an eye poke, and it was quite blatant. Obviously, got stopped, and he was given time to recover. And then in the second round, he like dropped Paddy like really badly. I actually thought it was going to get stopped, like definitely, because Paddy goes to the ground. And I actually thought he was like, Gaethje was punching him really hard, and I actually thought he went out for a second, but I guess he didn't. Uh, and it was when he got dropped, it was like Gaethje threw the left hand. Was the camera? Gaethje threw the left. It was like a right hand. So no, it was a left hand. He threw like a left jab, and his thumb stuck out like that and went into Pimblett's eye. And you see Pimblett like be like, "Ow!" He poked me in the eye. And whilst he's doing that, Gaethje like follows up with like a right hand, and it drops Paddy. And then he just kind of goes on the ground. Obviously, the ref didn't see it, so it didn't get stopped. So that happened in round two. That was like, you could call that a 10-8. You'd be justified calling that a 10-8. He got like brutalized. And then after that, for the rest of the fight, it was pretty much this kind of back and forth like war. Paddy won round three. Uh, he was. Paddy had this like resurgence in the third round, because I thought in the third round he's not going to make it out after what I'd seen at the end of round two. And he had this like resurgence where he just started like landing really good shots on Gaethje. I think he rocked him like a good few times, and he was obviously gassed. You could see that after the second round into the third, like he was starting to gas pretty heavily, and but yeah, he started like just landing really good shots, really good right hands, uppercuts, really good jab. He had a really good jab in this fight. Gaethje obviously was landing big shots. The weakness about this fight was that Paddy Pimblett was backing up. He kept every time Paddy Pimblett backed up against the cage, Justin Gaethje would land like crazy like right hands, like it would like clip Paddy or like just miss him, and it's like KO punches. And because whenever it was in the center, Pimblett couldn't miss. It felt like Pimblett couldn't miss. He was landing really good teeps to the body, really good leg kicks. Like Justin Gaethje's leg like stopped working at one point. Just after so many chopping at the legs, obviously a lot of front kicks, and Pimblett was trying to set up all these like flying knees. He was waiting, to try and do like flying knee. Kept doing the spinning elbow like 4 times, and it missed every time, or maybe it glanced one of the times or something, but it never done any effective damage to matter. But he kept trying to do spinning elbows. Fourth round, Gaethje won. I think it was like a bit of like a massacre. I think he up against the fence, like Gaethje just kept, every time they'd break, Gaethje would land something. He would land like a right hand, a left hand. He landed a really good uppercuts at some point, which was like, and if you've seen Paddy Pimblett's face, it was like you know, crazy bad. It was like bruising his eye. It was all red, blood coming out his nose, blood coming out his on like the side of his eye. He was cut. And then into the fifth round, it was like 3-1 Gaethje, and Paddy obviously needed a finish, and he was trying his best. It was kind of, the fifth round was pretty good. However, there was a lot of clinching like towards the end. Obviously, they're both tired, like I know that, but there was a lot of clinching, and obviously, when you're tired, you're kind of not thinking about anything else other than trying to not be tired, so you're not going to go for too much. Pimblett was obviously like going for it. Obviously, he had to get a finish. His coaches were telling him that in the corner, and he was trying his best, landing good shots. Gaethje started landing a lot of good shots, and they were up against the fence for quite a bit. And then obviously the time ran out, and they had that kind of standing bang at the end, kind of where like they both fell over. Gaethje done that a lot as well. Like see maybe towards like the third, fourth, and fifth round, especially the fourth and fifth. Gaethje would just wind up on big shots, and he'd just miss and he'd like fall over because he's trying to just knock Pimblett out. And also it looked like Gaethje hurt, maybe even broke his right hand at some point. He like stopped throwing it. He was kind of going more towards leg kicks. Like at the start of the fight, Gaethje wasn't leg kicking that much, and then he just started leg kicking after what appeared to be like ostensibly his hand was broke because he wasn't throwing it. And I think maybe towards the end of the fight, he realised he had to throw it, so I guess he was just fighting through the pain, and he managed, and he was just using it. But Gaethje's the new interim champ, so Gaethje wins. He is next in line to fight Topuria. I do not see him winning against Topuria even a slight chance. If Topuria lands the shots that Pimblett landed on Gaethje, Gaethje's going to sleep. Like that is just a matter of fact. He got hit with so many good shots. Somehow he didn't even get like wobbled too bad. Like Gaethje didn't get wobbled like too bad. You've seen Gaethje like doing the chicken dance before in like previous fights, or even just getting knocked out cold by Holloway. But some of the punches Pimblett were landing were like knockout shots, and somehow Justin Gaethje ate them. But against Topuria, that's not happening. He's going to get slept. I'm calling that right now. If Gaethje fights the way he fought tonight against Topuria, he's going to get slept in like round one. You can't do that with Topuria. He's probably going to wrestle, maybe, who knows. But uh, yeah, Gaethje's going to fight Topuria probably in the summer, probably White House card. Makes sense. Gaethje's American. You might as well put it on the. He's a Trump fan as well. Put it on the White House card, and it would do numbers. With Topuria obviously as well. Topuria's like the biggest star in the UFC or one of like top two, and that would be good. Good co-main, maybe even main event for the White House card. Probably co-main for the White House card, and then Pimblett. So Pimblett lost. Obviously, he was a bit defeated. He sounded quite defeated in the post-fight interview, and he, was talking about his mates who had passed away and all that stuff, and the Liverpool Football Club for whatever reason. I don't know why. Oh, he said it because one of the players died like last summer, which I thought was a bit irrelevant to now. However, I understand why he said it, and what was it? He just sounded very defeated. He sounded very defeated with the loss. And what's next for him? Probably Arman. Like ideally, it would be Arman, but I'm not sure if the UFC are going to give it to him. Obviously, he needs to recover. He's like taken like a hell of a beating. Like he's seen his face. Like I said, it's like absolutely mashed up. They could give him Arman. They could give him maybe a Holloway Oliveira winner. That would be good. A Holloway Oliveira winner, BMF belt. Who knows? Obviously, would Paddy be? Yeah, they could do that. If they don't give if they don't give him Arman, which I actually don't think they might. I think he'd get killed by Arman maybe. Uh, but with his chin being tested tonight, maybe not. Maybe he might do well. Maybe he could win against Arman. And there's beef there as well, so they could give that fight to Pimblett, the Arman Pimblett fight, because there is the beef, there is a storyline. It would be very hyped up. I think a lot of people would want to see that. But maybe for the safer route, maybe they give him the winner of Holloway Oliveira. Maybe that might be the safer option for the longevity of Paddy Pimblett. But it will be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we won't find that out for months and months while Paddy Pimblett, heals and the Oliveira Holloway fight takes place. But I'll do like the sound of the, Paddy Pimblett BMF belt. That'd be good promotion. A lot of hype for that. Could be good. Good way of getting him back. Because I think he'd beat both Holloway and Oliveira. I feel like his striking's like he's got a lot more power than both of those guys. maybe not Oliveira, but he's definitely got maybe more power than Holloway. And he's big for the division against like a Holloway. So maybe they'll do that, but who knows? Anyway, so UFC 324 was good, pretty good to start off. Next week we have UFC 325, back to back pay per views, which is pretty good, or numbered events as they're called now. So Volkanovski versus Lopez 2. We'll see how that goes. But the production was good. I liked it in general, and good start. So well done to them. And that whole promo just before the main card started about the kind of ushering in the Panama era by showing all the other eras beforehand. Like from the UFC's inception to they showed all like the Conor McGregor era, the kind of early 2010s era, late 2000s era. That was pretty good. And plus they had that big like fabric sheet around the octagon. That was kind of cool. So I like that. And yeah, so good event. And yeah, so if you liked the video, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, really helps out. And I will see you later. Bye.